Well, while all of Ukraine has been affected by Russia's war, one city in particular has become a hotspot for Russian drone attacks with no apparent reason. DW's investigative team has been looking into why and has found evidence that Russia may be testing a new type of drone on civilians there. Beryslav on the Dnieper River has seen a disproportionate level of drone activity. Residents there say they feel hunted down by drones, which have killed or injured around 150 civilians. Human rights experts say the indiscriminate targeting of civilians may amount to war crimes.
The aftermath of a drone strike near Ukraine's front line. Attacks like these have been relentless in Beryslav in recent months. Residents say they are terrorized from dawn until sunset.
They have so many drones. I can't imagine what resources they must have to just hit some garage.
Lyubov and Volodymyr Kinrat fled Beryslav after their home was attacked in February. Drones dropped explosives on their garage and car. They managed to escape uninjured. Many others haven't. Since September, at least 16 civilians have been killed, and more than 130 have been injured in drone strikes. Many residents DW spoke to say they were hunted by drones and did not feel safe leaving their homes during daylight.
They were playing, yes, a computer game, as if they were sitting there and playing.
In real life.
On living targets.
Drones have become a pivotal weapon in this war, also for the Ukrainian side. Many are typically hobby drones, usually used for racing or aerial photography, that have been fitted with explosives. DW has spent 6 months investigating why Russia's military is targeting such a small city, with seemingly limited military significance. We identified these 3 Russian units operating drones in the area, with evidence that one of them is testing a new Russian drone. Several sources DW spoke to believe Beryslav could be a training ground for drone pilots operating across the Dnieper River.
It doesn't matter if it's a person in uniform, whether it's a soldier or civilian. They train in Beryslav.
Hundreds of clips documenting Russian drone strikes have been shared on Telegram. Vehicles are a common target. This example shows Russian troops declaring all vehicles to be military targets. There are no civilians here. All vehicles are being destroyed to hinder movement and deprive the enemy of mobility. Lawyers say that is clearly illegal.
He's not making any assessment as to how he's going to minimize civilian damage. And effectively, he's decided that any individual is a legitimate military target. So that comment, plus evidence of the drone being used in the way suggested, creates not just a plausible case, but a very strong case of war crimes.
But many drones leave little physical traces of their attack, just destruction. Presenting a huge challenge for authorities in investigating these crimes and holding anyone accountable.
Well, Julett Pineda is from DW's investigative team who've been working on this for the past half year. Julett, tell us a bit more about the dangers involved, the intrigue, and how you managed to identify these 3 units that could be responsible for these attacks.
Ben, so what we did is we basically looked into the eastern bank of the Dnieper River, because something that happens with these drones is that they cannot fly as far as military drones. These are hobby drones that are fitted with explosives. And basically, the Dnieper River delimits the front line that is in the Kherson region. So one bank of the river is controlled by Ukrainian forces, and the other one is under Russian occupation still. So what we did was project the trajectory of these drones and see what units have been observed on the eastern bank of the river operating drones and targeting this specific area. And we came up with 3 units, the 205th Motorized Rifle Brigade, which we have identified targeting specifically vehicles, regardless if they're civilian or military. The Special Purpose Brigade, which is extremely secretive, and it's under the command of the Russian intelligence, and a newly formed unit that is a volunteer or reservist unit that we know have been testing a new drone in the area.
So tell us more about how you conducted the investigation, because I guess you had to get quite close, and that's the dangerous part.
Yes, so we conducted this investigation in 2 parts. We analyzed hundreds of Telegram posts from Ukrainian authorities, from Russian units, from drone operators, from the Russian troops, Russian local authorities. So that was the open source part that we analyzed here from Berlin. But we had the support and our colleagues in the Kiev Bureau travel all across Ukraine to verify that data that we have collected and find human sources, find the human testimony and the human aspect of it. So they travel as close as they could to Beryslav, which is extremely dangerous. All authorities have closed all the roads that lead to the city because there's a risk for every single vehicle of being targeted. And they travel to the Beryslav district, where we have seen this uncommon amount of drone attacks that have resulted in civilian casualties, but they also travel to other regions in which survivors of these attacks have been relocated. They talk to NGOs, to volunteers that go back and forth from Beryslav to deliver food relief, and also to experts that are looking into this war crimes, potential war crimes.
Tell us about the Ukrainian experts who were looking into this, and what do Russians say as well?
So in the case of the Ukrainian experts, investigating drone attacks is extremely challenging for several reasons. One of the reasons is that, as the report said, these attacks leave little evidence behind. They're very targeted. Usually the drone flies with a fitted explosive, drops the munition, and then returns back to the operator. So basically only the leftovers of this munition are what's left for them to investigate. Also, these attacks are happening very close to the front line, which means that they cannot go there to investigate this, and they are risk of being targeted in a double tap attack.
And what are Russians saying?
So the Russian authorities have declined our request for comment. We reached out to the Russian Ministry of Defense, to local authorities in Occupy Kherson. They declined our request for comment, but one company that's developing this drone got back, and they said that they don't have any cooperation with the Russian Ministry of Defense.
Julett Pineda, thank you very much. DW's investigative team on that exclusive report.